Hey guys, this week we are talking about bubble craps, bankrolls, and more, so stick around.
Welcome to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Vegas, here we come.
Vegas!
Here are your hosts, Chris and Josh.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 80 of the Crap Vegas podcast. I am Chris, he's Josh. Josh, we did it. We made it all the way to number 80. It's an even number. Is this an angel number?
It is. Definitely, it's an angel number. I
100%.
feel like we should have prepared some special music or something, but I'm saving that for episode 100.
Oh, Josh, if we have time, maybe I could get our girl that did the recording of number 1, number 2. Maybe I could get her to do number 80, and we'll just splice it right in. It'll be terrific.
I'm guessing you won't.
No, it's 0% chance, but a great idea I did have, though.
It was a great idea.
Hey,
one
what's
that we
going on
came
out
up
there?
with as we're recording, and that was it.
Exactly. Anything cool?
Let's see. We took our kid to the symphony last week, Chris, and I don't know what, if you're a symphony guy or not. I'm not particularly a symphony person, but my wife used to be kind of before we got together, and she every once in a while gets it under, there's some piece of music. In this case, it was Vivaldi's Four Seasons, I think.
Sure.
And it got me thinking about, I would choose the symphony over opera.
Okay.
But neither one, unless I know the music, it doesn't really do much for me. But I got to thinking about that scene in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts goes to the opera and cries.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you, Chris, are you a music crier, or are you you don't strike me as a particularly person that's moved to cry at many things.
No,
is there anything that really touches you? Like, do movies make you cry?
No, movies don't. Music really doesn't either. I mean, my emotions are typically in check. I don't sway too far one way or the other. Certain things with the kids that really hits me, something that's, extremely, if it's really big to them, then maybe for me, it hits me that way.
Yeah.
But if it's not like kid related, no, I'm not a big crier. I'm not. Even when I was married for 10 years, never cried. The divorce didn't even cause me to cry. So
didn't cry.
No, it didn't really
I
hit
haven't
me
gotten
that
there,
hard,
so I don't know if that would make me cry or not. But
there you go.
I was thinking, for me, it's music. Music can make me particularly, and I don't know why, particularly country. I can.
Willie Nelson is really known to just bring out the tears.
I can think of two songs off the top of my head. Tim McGraw, Don't Take the Girl, which is from 15, 20 years ago, whoever knows. That song makes me cry every time I hear it. There's with the Kenny Rogers, The Coward of the County.
That makes you cry?
Bring me to, because the woman gets, sexually assaulted and all this stuff.
I was going to say, you know what the lyrics of that song are about, right?
Yes, exactly right.
I really feel like we've talked about that song on this show before. Have we not?
I don't know. It's been 80 episodes, Chris. It's
Norm Macdonald did a whole skit.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember us talking about that. Yeah, we must have.
And it was absolutely hilarious. So if you haven't listened to that before, I highly recommend all of you go on YouTube, search Norm Macdonald.
I think you sent me the clip, right?
It is
I don't know if we talked about it on the show or
worth
not.
listening to. I really enjoyed it. But Josh, I'm sorry to hear that you were brought to tears over it, but hopefully it was a positive crying episode.
It was. The other thing that happened musically is I was watching, some Instagram thing, and I don't usually have the sound on when I'm scrolling Instagram, but apparently the sound clicked on, and whatever it was some rap song or something. And my daughter said, "You listen to that?" And I said, no, I just happened to be part of the, and she's like, okay, because I didn't think you listen to any modern music. And I said, what are you talking about? I listen to modern music. And she said, not unless you count the Wicked soundtrack as modern music.
Jeez. Oh, you're so hip, Josh. You know that?
Yeah, I got the Wicked soundtrack on. Occasionally I listen to country, as I said. Casey Musgraves has a song called The Architect that came out last year, that I think is a beautiful song. How about you, Chris? Assuming you don't have anything to talk about, did you get all muddy in the Derby?
No, did not go to the Derby, didn't go to the Oaks. I haven't been in probably 5 or 6 years. It's not a place I want to go. I even told Josh, it's my least favorite week to be in the city. Just way too many people, lots going on. Attendance was down a little bit this year.
Yeah.
I think part of it was ticket pricing. Like entry-level tickets were $1,000 or more now to get into the Derby, and Oaks as well. And then, of course, we had rain all week.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But I think the most exciting part of it, Josh, is I had to drop my daughter off at an event over the weekend. And on the way, I had to drive past the private airport that we have in Louisville. You have never seen so many private jets lined
PJs?
up on a tarmac.
Right.
I mean, it's that way at the Louisville International Airport as well. But the private airport gets a little. Just Cessnas and Falcons and just everything you could ever want back to back to back to back. It's just crazy seeing it. And I heard Sunday morning at the airport was the busiest it had been in like 30 years. Just everybody trying to fly out Sunday morning, lines wrapped outside around the building, just an absolute mess. I'm glad I was at home.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I guess the race was fun.
Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, you had two of the favorites coming first, second with Sovereignty and Journalism. But payouts weren't that great this year. A bunch of my friends hit the trifecta. One hit a superfecta. But again, when you're getting the favorites coming in the top two spots,
still not paying all that.
It didn't pay enough to really make a big difference. It wasn't one of those years where the superfecta paid $300,000 or anything.
Right. Well, with that, let's get episode 80 rolling.
Okay, let's do it. So let's say you're sitting at home and you want to figure out a way to get a hold of us. I got your answers right here. You can send us an email. That is podcast@crapvegas.com. You can join us over on our Facebook group. That's crapvegas.com/Facebook. You can join us over on Twitter.
X.
He's at Vegas Duffy. I'm at Small Whale 13, or the show page is at Crap Vegas. Or we would absolutely love to have you join us over on Patreon. That is patreon.com/crapvegas. And we even have that 1 week trial, so you can come check it out, make sure it makes sense. Dip your toe into the water, nice and easy. It's starting to hit pool season here, Josh. So you want to make sure that water's nice and warm. We give you that opportunity right from the start.
Yes, I do encourage everybody to dip their toe in. Dipping your toe in it's a good life philosophy.
Yeah, just put a tip in. That's the rule in life. Stick the tip in.
I'm not saying a word.
Okay.
Onward we go. It's episode 80. This is a clean show.
Previous episode feedback. Josh, we got a message from Eric on our Vegas Virgins episode. He said, for bigger players like yourselves, the advice to always use a player card makes sense. A light day isn't going to hurt you enough to matter. For a smaller player, it makes a huge difference. Managing average daily and whether or not you open a day or a trip makes a huge difference for average and smaller players. When I was a larger player, I might have overemphasized this. And as my averages shrunk, I think I did not pay enough attention to this, and it drastically affected my offers. It all depends on the property chain, Eric, because some, they will ding you on that final day a little harder than others. Some of them use Trip Theo more than ADT, depending on if you're playing locally versus at a destination resort. And you are right. Hosted players, almost every host looks at your Trip Theo. They do not care what your ADT is. So that extra day really is meaningless. But yes, it does matter a little bit more, especially at certain properties, picking up that extra gaming day if you're not going to play much.
Yeah, I think, Eric, that's a really valid observation about our comments, which was and I think it was me that said kind of don't worry about just use your player's card the whole trip, even if you have a short time on the end, that kind of thing. And I think maybe I spoke too quickly that matters less to us than it might for lower level players where that Diggly Theo makes a big difference. So yeah, for a Vegas Virgin, if you're just going to play for a really short time on a day, maybe don't use your card, but I still think overall using your card is the best piece of advice to give.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a message from Conflict Otter over on Patreon, Josh.
Our favorite name.
I know. He said, great show as always. My recs for first timers generally depend on their goals, but I can't believe nobody recommended to remember to bring non-gambling petty cash. Having cash that you didn't pay a giant ATM fee to withdraw for tips and incidentals outside of your resort makes life so much easier.
That is absolutely a great observation, Conflict Otter. And I think we've talked about it before, but I have a specific envelope that I put my singles and fives and 20s and 10s and so on in. That's my petty cash envelope that I carry with me. Chris knows. And and sometimes it gets kind of big, which is fun because then I can take it out and it's like, oh, I've got $500 in the petty cash envelope that I can then put into the gambling fund. But that's for tips. Really, that's for tips. And it's fun to have it not come out of my daily bankroll or anything like that. I think that's a great piece of advice.
I agree. We received some feedback from Joe over on the CV Facebook group, Josh. Joe says, listening to the new episode talking about longest walks, one time about 10 years ago, I had dinner at the Golden Steer. When we called a cab to leave, we were told nobody could get us because the police had a chase and ended up having to shoot someone right in the street directly in front of the restaurant.
Okay.
After waiting about an hour, we decided we were going to walk to the Strat and catch a ride from there. It took forever and can't believe we didn't get killed making that dicey walk at 11 p.m.
Wow.
We finally made it and went on to enjoy the rest of the night. I will never forget that walk.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. That's quite the story. I was reminded about the long walk that I made to the bank the one time. I think Sean mentioned
you've talked
the
about
long
that.
walk I made to the bank, right? But I think that one takes the cake. I haven't seen a shooting or anything like that. I was thinking, though, Chris, one piece of advice we forgot to mention for Vegas Virgins last time on episode 79, I think it was hookers.
What about them? Is that like a
I'm just going to leave it right there.
Not?
No, I think a piece of advice for Vegas Virgins is to people think that it's legal in Las Vegas. It is not legal in Las Vegas. Prostitution is not legal within Las Vegas. And so be careful about that, right? For Vegas Virgins?
Yeah, certain properties are far worse than others too. And yeah, especially since we were talking about virgins. Yeah, they'd be much more likely, take some of these ladies of the night up on their offers as they sit by them at their slot machine while they're by themselves.
Yes, just be careful if that's something you're into, that there's all sorts of, there's police that go, there's sting kind of things, but there's also ones that will rob you. And that's
you can get robbed in your room. Yeah. There's a lot of things that can happen. I agree. Just stay away from all that stuff. No reason to die.
That's always good advice.
Yeah. Lastly, Josh, we saw a post from Raymond over on the CV Facebook group. Raymond said some more fun at the MGM property, attempting to buy the 5 and 9, going back to that discussion we had recently. Worked great until the new pit boss comes over and has the weirdest take I've ever seen. He says, quote, I realize you can buy it, but you should just bet $52 to win $75, and then you never have to pay the juice. After some back and forth, I ask him, wait, how does 52 pay 75? He starts talking, saying, well, 50 pays 70 and 2 pays something inaudible. Then he just aggressively grabs the buy lammers and chucks them onto the table, clearly upset I wasn't buying whatever nonsense he was trying to sell.
Well, that's weird. I mean, it sounds like this is just a never-ending thing at the MGM properties. Like, one shift to another doesn't know what the hell to do with that bet.
No, and he's trying to push you to make a bet that does not pay as well. Now, here's what I would say. If the place bet would pay $75 on a $52 bet because they just don't know how to do math, then sure, go ahead. Doesn't matter at all. But it's not going to pay that. It's going to pay $72.
There we go. This is where you lose me on the whole math thing. But
Yeah, math is hard, Josh. It really
math is hard.
Okay, well, let's keep it going, Josh, and get on to the next topic here. Okay, so I wanted to kick things off today with a little trip recap I came across over on the CV Facebook group. And I do think this one's going to spark a couple good conversations, Josh. Picture this. 4 nights in Vegas, mostly craps with a little Ultimate Texas Hold'em. Started rough for the guy, lost half his bankroll day one. Who hasn't been there? That's been me many times.
Yes.
That's you most trips too.
Yes.
But fast forward to the morning of the flight home. He has a monster crap session, in for $500, out for $2,800, ends the trip up $700. Not bad at all, right?
Yeah, I would take that. Up $700, I'll take in a second.
Okay, so here's the kicker though. Most of his craps wins came from bubble craps, not the tables. He's a longtime table games player, the kind who would roll his eyes at an electronic version of a game if he saw it, Josh.
Like you.
But yeah, pretty much. But this time the machines won him over, and it got him asking, why did he enjoy bubble craps more than the live tables that day? So hearing more about his experience, a couple questions came to my mind that I thought we would run through regarding bubble craps in general.
All right.
So first of all, have you ever intentionally sought out bubble craps instead of playing at a live table?
The only thing I can ever think of, Chris, is that time when you and I went downtown, I think with Boring Jack, was it Binion's to check out the cowgirls from that show?
That's exactly what it was. She's not still there.
And I think we all played some bubble craps, but it was really just, we wanted to just play something, and we didn't want to jump into a regular craps game. And it was kind of just a way to throw $100 into a thing and see what happened. How about you? You've played a little more. I know you've played in I remember you playing at Encore specifically.
It feels like the only times that I end up on a bubble craps machine are like when you're running to the bathroom or something, and we're going to have like a 10-minute break. Instead of sitting down at a slot machine, I'll sit down at a bubble craps machine and see what happens. That's about it.
I will say, though, for our listeners, Chris is never not wanting to play something. Like whenever I run to the restroom, wherever we are, I'll come out and Chris is on a machine, at a bubble craps table, at a table game. Like you do not let the gambling grass grow under your feet.
That is 100% true. It's Glengarry Glen Ross, always be gambling.
That's right.
I think that's what they said in that movie. Absolutely. I try to keep myself busy at all times. Next question. He mentioned that speed and control were really big draws of playing bubble craps. Being able to play fast when it's hot, slow when it's cold. Do you think that's a huge factor for you, Josh, when you pick to play craps, whether you can control the speed of the game or any casino game for that matter? Does it matter to you if you can control the game going fast, slow? Does that dictate where you play?
That's interesting. I mean, thinking about that with bubble craps, I guess it does matter to me. Part of the reason I choose empty craps tables usually is so that I'm not, and part of the reason I don't like full tables is because it can be so slow. And I guess one of the nice things about playing bubble craps would be it's completely within your control how fast or slow the game goes. So I've never thought about it that way, but I think it really factors into me wanting to play at empty craps tables. Or part of the reason, maybe I like slot machines even.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that crap table version of that question a little later, Josh, with another listener question that we had. But I'm right there with you. I do like to be able to control the pace that I play at. It's why I gravitate towards empty tables more. You do have to be careful when he asks about any game. You got to be careful when we're talking about games like blackjack and stuff. Because playing heads up blackjack, man, money can fly really quick if you're not careful. I mean, they can get a ton of hands in just a single minute.
Especially if you have fast dealers.
Oh, yeah. And so those ones that fly, pay no attention, flip, go, next hand.
Right.
Yeah, no, it can go pretty fast. But I think that's, for me, I like to be able to control the speed of the game. And I would never play at a blackjack table that was full. I can't go that slow either.
One of my favorite memories, Chris, I think it was at Wynn. I can't remember if you were there or not, but there was a big, loud, boisterous guy. And the table it was a nice hot roll. It was a full table, though. It was packed. And he was insisting on no delays. You know, fortunately, it was good dealers that win, whoever it was, Rick and Jay. But he was like, give me the dice, give me the dice. And he wanted to just take him and throw while the table was hot. And even though it was full, he was like, we're not waiting.
No, I get you. I mean, I'm the same way, Josh. I mean, I get impatient during a good roll. I hate when they try to slow things down because something got mispaid or something. I start to, even though I know that it doesn't matter, I become antsy at the same time and just like, come on, you can fix that later. At multiple points of the table, I think for you and for other people I don't even know, they're complaining over like $20 being off or something. I usually just say, look, I'll give you the money. Just send the dice, please.
Yes.
I will if I need to, just to keep them moving.
Right.
It's
You're
not
saying
that
you get just a little stitious. A little stition
creeps in there. It's not that I'm stitious. I just feel like, you know what? Let's keep things moving. I don't like the game slowing down. Everything's going well. Let's keep that positive feeling going.
Makes perfect sense to me.
You know, people talk about the advantage of playing bubble craps, Josh. I think one huge benefit that must be mentioned is that there are exact payouts on your bet.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me at all.
I mean, maybe it doesn't matter.
I don't
to
know
you.
what the exact payouts. I mean, I shouldn't. Maybe that's too flip an answer. It is nice, and I know that to be true on bubble craps. But as someone that is less aware of exactly what the payout should be, a lot, I'm less likely to catch it. If that makes sense, but it is something that is in favor of bubble craps, especially at those lower betting amounts.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure, you don't have to make a $6 bet on a 6 or 8. To get the $7. I mean, you can make whatever bet you want. You can put $2 on it. You can bet $3 on it, and they're going to pay you to the penny what it should be. I think if anything, for people like you, Josh, that don't always know the proper payouts, it's much better for you because you don't have to worry about improper bets or anything like that.
That's absolutely right. And that is a big, especially if I were playing at lower levels, then I would have no clue what I'm supposed to get. So that's a benefit for sure.
The gentleman in that post, Josh, said that he doesn't like being the only one at a big table with multiple dealers. Have you ever felt uncomfortable playing solo at any game?
You know, I was thinking about that. We've kind of talked about it. Craps, it doesn't bother me very much. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there are 3 dealers. But the places where it does get me a little bit, Chris, is where it's one-on-one. So you mentioned the solo blackjack table. And I was thinking of playing at a video poker bar and having just me and the bartender. Because if I'm sitting there at a bar playing video poker and the bartender wants to be chatty, what if I don't want to be chatty?
Oh, I know.
How do I gracefully say, stop talking to me or just, let me sit and play so it is a little bit, particularly when and the same thing can happen at a blackjack table. If it's just you and the dealer and the dealer wants to be chatty and you don't, or vice versa, it is definitely awkward.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I don't like it is sometimes you walk up to a craps table, you're by yourself, 3 dealers are there, they're having a conversation when you walk up.
Oh, that.
And it feels like they just completely ignore you. They
Yeah.
continue their conversation. Like, I'm not saying I want to be the middle of the conversation, but if
Right.
I'm the only person at your table, I'm betting for you, you need to include me on what's going on. You can't
Yeah.
just keep talking about what you're talking about. I wouldn't say it makes me uncomfortable. It frustrates me. But I don't mind playing at a table by myself. I actually prefer it because then I can have a real conversation with the dealers, maybe get to know them a little bit better. They can get to know me a little bit more. You can have more of an actual, one-on-one connection with that person.
Yeah, especially in craps, I want the dealer next to me, whoever is the closest
the
dealer
base
to
dealer.
me to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if I'm next to the stick man, I'll, the stick man. But I want, I don't mind
Have
if
you ever been next to the sick man? Ever?
well, at a full table, but that's not this example. Not very
I was
often.
gonna say, I've never seen you where you weren't the base dealers first. Always.
The only way that I've done it kind of voluntarily is if I knew that dealer.
Okay, I gotcha. Do you think, Josh, that Bubble Craps is more approachable for newer players, or is it just more convenient in general?
I think it's definitely more approachable. And I hope it's more approachable. It's a great way to kind of jump into craps and just kind of see what it is. I think it's a different feeling. If you get used to bubble craps at first and then you go to a live table, you're probably going to still be somewhat overwhelmed, but at least you'll have an idea. But I think it's great for new players.
I'm with you there, Josh. I think like people have said, you can control the speed of the game. You can try different bets out. And you don't have to worry about, did I make the wrong bet at the wrong time? Am I going to piss somebody off at the table?
Right.
Because if you want to bet a big red when you're in the middle of a roll,
Bet the big red.
then go crazy. You're not hurting anybody. Nobody even knows that you made the bet. So just do what you want to do. You can't offend people. You can't go too slow. You can't, mess up the dice and do something with them that you're not supposed to do.
If you want to build that silly tower, build the tower betting, which we talked about a long time ago. But if you want to do something like that, right.
You're right. It's a great way to test new strategies that you might not be as comfortable with. Or, hey, if you're one of those people that likes to regress your bets or take down your bets and put them back up, if you're one of those jerks, then Bubble Craps is perfect for you.
Right.
Let's talk about comps. The post mentions how these Bubble Craps machines, Josh, give very little credit, if any. Most of them give no credit at all for playing at these things. How important do you think that is to you, or especially for a brand new player who's just getting into the Players Club trying to establish themselves?
Well, two different questions there. It's something I think you should be aware of. Anybody playing Bubble Craps needs to know if it's generating tier credits or not. And if you want to, know what your expectation is. For me, if I am playing Bubble Craps, it's not in any way to generate any status or anything like that. It's for whatever reason. I have a low bankroll, or I want to, be kind of anonymous that trip, whatever the reason is. It's not to generate tier credits. We've already talked about casinos don't really care for table games players, craps players in general for status. And Bubble Craps is going to be even worse if you do even get any points. So just be aware of that, and whether or not that factors into your decision, I kind of think depends on the level of player you are and how much of other games you're playing.
Yeah, if you're somebody like us, then playing an hour on a Bubble Craps machine, even if you played our normal betting levels, it'd be frustrating not to get any credits for it, but it's not the end of the world. It's not really going to change anything. But if you're new to the casino program, you're trying to get your foot in the door, and all you did the whole weekend that you were there is play Bubble Craps, well, I mean, that is going to hurt you. You might not get that free room because they don't know, what you're really offering at the end of the day. You're getting no tier status. I mean, they know what you won and lost. Right. I mean, they do have that information, and you're just not getting much for it. So, just keep that in mind. And something on the other side, Josh, negative-wise, tax forms. This is something we don't really talk about on here much. Yeah. But those Bubble Craps machines in almost every place I can think of are considered a slot machine. So when you hit some bigger wins, you could be triggering W2Gs coming on just a normal place bet or a buy bet or a pass line, just depending on how much you're betting.
Yeah, and it's definitely, it doesn't, Chris and I don't think about it because we tend to get a fair number of those, so it wouldn't even have an impact. But if that's important to you, getting a W2G or not getting a W2G, that should be a factor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are your thoughts, Josh, on the social aspect of it? Because when you're playing Bubble Craps, you're usually not talking to anybody. It's not as social as the real game itself.
I think it's important for people to kind of know. So there's the pretty much two different kinds of Bubble Craps. There's the one where you share 2 dice with however many people are at the station. and there's the individual dice ones. I think for the most part, we're talking about the individual dice stations.
Yes.
If we're talking about a shared dice station, I think it can be, very
more of a community event.
Yeah. But if we're talking about the individual ones, it's not very so. I mean, it's kind of like playing a slot machine next to your buddy.
Sure.
You're not getting part of the fun of craps is winning and losing. Unless you're playing with Tim from the Better Life or something.
Yeah.
Winning and losing with your teammates, with the people that are playing the game with you. I mean, that's what makes craps more fun to me than blackjack or Ultimate Texas Hold'em or whatever. Is you all share, not everybody, but most of you share in the wins and losses, at least to some extent. I think Bubble Craps loses that at those individual stations, so it's not as social. But it can still be social like sitting next to your friend at a slot machine is, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, see, I think it's even worse than that, though, Josh, because usually those individual Bubble Craps machines, even when they have their own individual ones, they're usually still in a circle. So you're usually like 5 or 6 feet away from the next person.
Yeah,
it's not like you're right next to them. So
watching what
you're
happens,
right. And I hate that because the best part of craps is not the game itself. The best part is literally the table excitement that comes from a hot craps table.
Yes.
I mean, and you can get something like that when it's just you by yourselves with the dealers pumping it up and making you feel better about it. But for the most part, I mean, craps is such a social game. Other games like blackjack and stuff, it's not. People can win while other people are losing in the same hand. Right. Typically in craps, you're all winning together, you're all losing together. And it just completely changes the way the game feels. So I do think that's something to keep in mind. There might be a lot of benefits to playing bubble craps or those group craps, machines. It's not the same thing as the real game, and you won't get that high that you get on a normal table.
Yeah, and I do think the community bubble craps one, you can get some of that. If you just want to play with you and your 3 friends and you're drinking a lot, that can be fun too. I mean, I hear people cheering like crazy and stuff sometimes together on those. So
yeah,
if that's important to you, yeah.
Now, Bubble Craps has been around a long time at this point, Josh. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Do you think that Bubble Craps will always have a place in the casinos? Is it a fad for now to get, they don't have to pay workers as much to open new tables and stuff and it will eventually disappear? Or do you think these things are going to be here forever?
I think they're going to be here forever, and I think we'll start to see more of them. I mean,
I
don't know the actual economics, but I imagine they're so much less expensive for the casino to operate than having a regular live craps table. And people seem to like them. I mean, you hear even Mark from You Can Bet on That likes to play bubble craps sometimes. And I think there is an appeal. And I bet you if I started playing it regularly, I would probably enjoy it. So I think they're going to be here to stay. We might see more of them too.
No, I think you're 100% right. And that leads into my final question, Josh. Would you ever structure an entire trip to a property where you knew the only thing you could play was those electronic machines and not real craps at a table? And there are certain states that don't allow craps and roulette to be dealt. Like Florida used to be that way for a long time. Now they allow it. Or you could be talking about California where they have it, but it's card craps, so it's not really the real thing. Would you ever go to a property like that where there wasn't an actual craps table to play at?
I don't think I would ever structure my trip around a place that didn't have craps if I wanted to play craps. Like to think, oh, I get to play bubble craps instead. But if I found myself at a casino that didn't have live craps and did have bubble craps and I wanted to shoot some dice, I would do it. But no, I wouldn't structure my trip around playing at a machine like that. I mean, I love live craps and I would want that.
Okay. I'm with you there, Josh. At the end of the day, so are you still Team Felt or are you Team Bubble?
I'm Team Felt.
Okay. I'm right there with
Team
you, Josh.
Push the button. No.
Push the button. Oh, jeez, Josh. Okay, well, coming up after the break, we got a couple of your questions to get through and a whole lot more, including Josh's favorite part of every episode, so stick around.
Hey, Chris, Zorkfest is coming up. You knew that, right?
Yeah, it's in, early December?
Early December 5th through 7th, 2025 at the M Resort Casino and Spa, I think technically it is, or maybe it's just
let's make sure we get the full legal name on there so we don't get sued.
LLC, Incorporated,
yes,
whatever it is.
A pen property.
Exactly. I had a few updates that I wanted to give people. First of all, tickets are available, going fast, good prices on now. But kind of more importantly than that, I found out, Chris, May 14th, the NFL releases its schedule. And that's actually really important to Zorkfest planning because I didn't know this, but the team, the Las Vegas Raiders, stays at M Resort
that makes sense.
Game night.
Yeah. Proximity-wise, that makes sense.
Right. So if the NFL on May 14th announces that the Raiders are playing a home game the weekend of Zorkfest, which is December, so it would be December 7th probably, the team will stay at M Resort and the room rates will go way up.
Okay.
So this is a long way of saying, if you think you're going to go to Zorkfest, even if you haven't bought a ticket to Zorkfest yet, go to zorkfest.com, find out how to book your travel, how to book your hotel through Zorkfest, and get a room reserved before May 14th if you can, so that you don't risk room rates going up, that kind of thing. That's something that Michael really wanted me to stress about Zorkfest. We don't know. It may not be a home game, but if you think you're going to go to Zorkfest, get that room reserved. You can always cancel it if your plans changed. That's just a big thing that we really wanted to stress. The other thing is we're kind of getting a couple things lined up that I'll be involved with. Crap Vegas. Chris, if you're there, you'll be involved with. One of the things we might do is a slot pull that I would run.
Nice.
And so we'll see if that happens. But anyway, Zorkfest is going to be a lot of fun. We'll have more announcements to come as we go. If you don't know already, it's a travel and loyalty conference. There's lots of expert-led panels. There's going to be a VIP dinner on Sunday night. It was Friday last year, which kind of cut into a little bit of people's gambling time and things. So I think we moved it to Sunday so you'd be able to enjoy everything. There's going to be a cocktail reception. There's all the conferences and stuff. It's a lot of fun, and I encourage everybody to go.
Sounds like a lot of fun, Josh. So I guess everybody should head on over to Zorkfest.com? Is that where you go?
Zorkfest.com will do it. Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Spelled just like it sounds.
Zorkfest. Listener questions. Josh, this week's listener questions are brought to you by Tony, Josh. She has two questions.
The letter T?
Yeah, the letter T, and we're going to answer both of them.
All right.
Okay, first email that we got. If I heard you right, you said your favorite thing is to play at a craps table by yourself. Since most dice lovers seek and respond to the lively atmosphere, she's curious what makes us prefer the solo situation, or maybe what makes you lean away from the group of people being loud and having fun together. I think we've talked about this a little bit before, and we even brought it up a little bit earlier on the episode, Josh, but why is it that you and I especially gravitate towards empty tables, especially if it's you and me playing together?
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tony. That's a great question. I think for me, it's a number of different things. It's maybe a little bit of social anxiety, especially at the beginning of things. Like jumping into a full table is just a little bit overwhelming to me a lot. And there's just something that feels safer to me about jumping in, getting into a table with no other people on it. So that's part of it. I think a little bit of it is as I mentioned earlier, I like a faster game. I like the pace of an empty table. And I like to kind of get to know dealers. And I like to feel like, and maybe this is, I don't know if it's vanity or whatever the right word is, but I like to have some attention. I like to feel like they're with me and the bets that I make for the dealers, they're rooting me on. And that's easier to do when it's just you, me, and the dealers at the table, is they're going to appreciate us and the bets we make for them. And, we're going to get the attention. So I think some of it's that. What about you?
Yeah, I think things like dealers are important. You can have a much better conversation. We can control the speed of the game if it's the two of us. If we want to stop for a minute, we can stop and talk, and tell our story that we have to tell or whatever it is.
Right.
I think it's a couple other things for me as well, Josh. I think one, I get frustrated easily by others doing stupid things, arguing over things that shouldn't be argued over, mid-roll buy-ins that cause problems, dumb bets that make absolutely no sense. And it just frustrates me seeing people throwing money away, doing stupid stuff.
Right.
That bothers me. And then also, though, on the flip side of things, although I know that I have zero control over what happens at that table, it doesn't matter who's throwing the dice, me, you, somebody else, it's all the same. I don't like the feeling of letting other people down. So when I'm playing at a table with a group of other people that I don't know, if I have a bad roll, say I go 0.7, I feel really bad about that. I know it has nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything wrong. It happens to all of us, but it bothers me that I did that. And if it's just you and I playing together, or if it's just me by myself, if I have a 0.7, it doesn't impact anybody else. Send me the dice again, or send you the dice after I screw up.
Right.
And let's start fresh and move on. And I don't even think of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'd forgotten that about you and the getting annoyed with people, but that's absolutely right.
I do.
Yeah. I don't think I do in quite the same way. I think that gets under your skin a little more than me. But those are all reasons we do it, Tony. And there's downsides to it too, as we mentioned. There's downsides to playing by yourself at a craps table or any.
Oh,
a
absolutely.
lot of these games. Yeah.
It goes a heck of a lot faster than you can ever imagine. and you can lose a lot of money very quickly. And yes, you do miss out, Josh, on those really good rolls of getting the other people hyping you up and clapping every time you make a point and stuff. That stuff is a really good feeling. I feel like it's almost like a muted version of craps where you don't get the really high highs that you would get at a full table, but you also don't get the really low lows. It's almost like you're on an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medicine.
You're
taking your topiramate, living in the middle.
Now, I will say, I like it when a table, and I've said this before, I like it when a table builds around me. Like if it's just you and I, and then we get 2 or 3, and then a roll gets hot, and then it get hot, and the table fills up. I like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I have no problem with that either. Second question from Tony this week. She said, since Josh is drifting to VP lately, I would love to hear you guys discuss bankroll size and game choice considerations when you factor in variance, because that can be really big in video poker, Josh. And she said, I'm sure there are other listeners who are into VP as well. So what do you think there? Bankroll when we're talking video poker, and does it factor into your bankroll when you say, I'm going to play, say, Ultimate X as opposed to 3-line, just double bonus? Or would you ever consider just doing jacks or better because there's less variance in a game like that?
Well, good questions, Tony. I think that for me, I guess we should say you mentioned it, but when she talks about VP, she's not talking about Venetian Palazzo, which we're also drifting to. It's video poker.
Some are drifting
VP at VP,
faster than others, yeah.
Exactly. No, I think about that. I thought about it with the trip I have coming up, and I was trying to think of how I want to structure the way I use my bankroll. And it absolutely matters to me, the game and the volatility and things like that. I think, so I had been playing, just kind of level set, I had been playing like $30 a pull slot machine, $30 a pull video poker, and Chris and I tend to play 600-ish across in craps. I'm going to try to play more craps at about like 270 across, or maybe 330 if I want to boost the 6 and 8 a little bit. I'm going to try and pull my slot play down to about $20 a pull, and I'm going to continue to play $30 a pull on video poker, whether it's Ultimate X or whether it's regular double 3-line. So for me, I'm thinking about volatility of the different games and still kind of cognizant of wanting to preserve my status and how I would enjoy myself. Now, the Ultimate X thing is the little variant wiggle factor in there. Like I could find myself playing more standard double than Ultimate X if it goes against me really quickly, that kind of thing. But that's kind of how I'm thinking about bankroll management of I'm going to play the greatest amount, I think, at a per pull basis on video poker rather than slots. What about you? What are you thinking?
And you're talking about bankroll management there, Josh, and how you use your money. What size do you think is reasonable? Say you're playing $30 Ultimate X. What do you think is a good buy-in there to make sure you can cover some of the variance? Because that game has extremely high variance playing at that level.
I think for a session, if I'm playing 30 Ultimate X, I would, 2,000 or 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
I think I'd be in the same area. My craps numbers, they never change. Everybody knows me.
I know.
I don't drop down. I'm not going to. It doesn't matter what casino I'm playing at or what's going on.
No,
so
it's
I think
true.
The only thing I've told Josh, though, that I'm with him on is I do want to, if not completely restrict, extremely limit slot play on my next trip and try to dedicate a lot more of that money over to video poker and see what kind of effect it really has on my offers at the end of the day. Now, ironically, on this next trip, I don't think it's really going to matter very much. And we'll talk about why here in a few minutes when we talk about our upcoming trips. But I think in general, the more money I could shift from slots where, you have a average hold somewhere between 8 and 15% probably, over to video poker or playing in a high limit bar, depending on the game you choose, it may only be 1%, 2% at worst.
Right.
So you can get some decent games. Your money should last a lot longer, but yeah, you don't get as much credit for it. But still, I'm not really chasing points anywhere I go right now.
Yeah, and I think we have yet to see. I'm curious, if I do what I talked about on this next trip, will that impact my offers? And I'm curious to see if that happens.
Yeah, no, I am too. I don't think that the craps decrease is going to hurt you at all.
Oh, no, I don't.
Because I just don't think our offers, the craps play that we give, and I give a lot more than you do, obviously, but the craps play that we give, I don't think really pushes our offers one way or the other. I really don't think it matters at all. And our host has even told us that before at Venetian Palazzo, that it just does not matter. It doesn't move the needle. So I think we could play 135 across, or we could play 600 across. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But the slot play and the VP play, that does matter. And that does add up. And even though video poker earnings rates are typically half that of a slot, if you can cut the edge down, Josh, from 10% to 2%, and you can play at the same level, you're going to play a lot longer. You should be able to earn the same amount of points eventually.
Right.
It just takes a little bit more time.
Right. Which I don't have anything else to do, so.
I would say, yeah, I got nothing else to do. You just said, what else could I possibly do? I'm there to gamble. That's why I'm there. Okay, Josh, let's keep it going. Patreon. That's patreon.com/crapvegas. What do we have new over there, Josh?
Well, we had lots of fun this last show with another CVTV. What was it? It was Vegas Revealed again, and it was the ways to win in Las Vegas or how to win in Las Vegas, something like that.
We picked up at least 5 different tips on how to save money in Vegas and make more money in Vegas. Some tips slightly better than others, but I'm really excited to see on Josh's new trip if he becomes a coupon whore and just shows up with a book of coupons for $2 in match play down at Plaza or something like that.
Now, what I wanted to say for those of you that aren't patrons, so CVTV is Chris and I, we do this sometimes over on the Patreon channel. We'll watch some Vegas related show and kind of comment on it as we're watching. One of the things we did on this last show that I think our patrons really like was we released the audio feed separately as a separate track, because we know some of our patrons really like to just listen to the show in their car, that kind of thing. So they didn't really care about watching. They just wanted to hear the audio. So we did that. And I think we'll probably keep doing that on the CVTV shows. That we got really positive feedback on that. I wanted to quickly mention just a couple basic Patreon things that we haven't talked about in a while. Chris and I have 2 different levels for our patrons. There's the KCS level, which we like a lot. It's our highest level that you get to see an unedited video feed of our regular show. So this episode we're recording on video right now. Our KCS patrons get an advanced look at this show. They get to see all of the editing that we do behind the scenes.
There's
we try and include a little extra
into making this as good as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's our base level that gets you access to this show, obviously, and our show that we record every other week opposite this show. That's just for the patrons. That can be the CVTV or some other show. So lots of different ways you can support us. We really appreciate that. And one thing I wanted to mention, as part of Zorkfest this year, Michael Traeger is getting a craps table at M Resort, which is where Zorkfest is going to be, just for our Crap Vegas patrons. That's going to be on the Friday night of Zorkfest, December 5th. Patrons only can play at a reserve table with me. It's going to be a $15 table. Really fun. So if you're going to go to Zorkfest, make sure and sign up for our special table just for patrons, but you've got to be a patron. So go ahead and support us over on Patreon and then join me at Zorkfest for that private table too.
That sounds awesome. So a big thank you to those that signed up over the past 2 weeks. That is Josh F., Philip B., David B. with an annual subscription.
Thank you, David.
Mark R. with a KCS subscription.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
And Sydney A. with the prestigious annual KCS membership.
Thank you, Sydney.
So thank you to all of you that signed up over the past 2 weeks. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Upcoming trips. Josh, we are going to be out there Memorial Day weekend.
Crap Vegas Brothers return.
Kind of. I think there's an asterisk next to it there, because we're gonna be in Vegas.
Yep.
Same days. Yep. Together.
Yep.
Kind of together. Geographically not together.
If you look at your picture map on your phone, where you take the pictures and you just have Vegas, all the pictures will be
our dots
one spot.
will line up over top of each other, like on Find My iPhone. We're gonna be really close to each other. However, we're not actually going to be in the same building.
No, except once.
So let's give a little bit more color here, Josh. I'm actually going to be at Wynn Friday through Sunday morning.
This is Memorial Day weekend, right?
Memorial Day weekend. Josh is going to be at Venetian Palazzo Friday through Sunday morning. Then transferring over to Wynn. We are going to have...
Chris leaves, right?
As soon as I walk out the door, Josh is coming over. No, not exactly.
It would be funny if I got your room. I'm not going to, which we'll talk about.
You're not going to. But that being said, we are going to have a coffee dice session together, Josh and I, on Sunday morning at Wynn. So if you want to play with both of us, that's Sunday morning at Wynn. We'll be over there playing coffee dice together. But other than that, Josh has about 100 things lined up that he's doing over the weekend. I'm not going to be part of that stuff. I might see Josh on Saturday for a minute. I'm sure I'll swing by and say hi.
Your dot will go over to Venetian Palazzo.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But if you want to see us both together, you got to come to Wynn Sunday morning, and that will be the best time to do it. If not, you're going to have to choose your favorite CV brother. If you want to play video poker.
We're going to be keeping track.
We absolutely are. There's a tally that is going to be happening. If you want to play video poker, you're probably going to end up over at Venetian Palazzo with Josh. And if you want to play craps, you'll be with me over at Wynn.
There we go. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll miss kind of some of the usual stuff that Chris and I do together, but we're actually going to have kind of a whole different group of experiences to talk about. Chris will have his trip to talk about what happens on his Memorial Day weekend. I'll have my trip. I'm going to see some shows. We've got dinner lined up. I'm going to be having dinner, Chris, at Wynn on one of the nights at that new Pisces restaurant, which is the new seafood Mediterranean restaurant, I think, that maybe took over for where Lakeside was. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
I did look, Chris, at the dress code for Pisces.
Do you have anything that would fit the dress code?
Well, you tell me. Seaside chic attire.
What the hold on. What the does that mean?
I think I have to dress like either Gilligan or the skipper.
I mean, does your Tommy Bahama shirt qualify for that?
That's got to be seaside chic.
I wish I understood. I don't think I've ever heard the term seaside chic before.
No, I was looking at the menu today and I happened to see dress code, seaside chic.
You want me to text our host and ask him what that means and get an opinion?
What's seaside chic? Yes.
Josh, it sounds like you're going to have a great time, though.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Friendly reminder, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app and visit our merch store. That's crapvegas.com/shop. We've made it to the end, so I guess it's
favorite
time
part
to spin that wheel.
It doesn't sound like that. All right, let's spin the wheel.
It's time to spin the Crap Vegas big wheel. Are you ready?
You ready?
Yeah.
Josh, spin the wheel.
Yeah, that button ready to go there.
Sure it is.
Oh, Chris, it's a new game on the wheel.
Ooh, a game? I love games, Josh. Tell me more.
This is a guess the conference, guess where it is, and guess how many people you think are going to be there, and then guess if you want to go. That's not really a guess, the last one.
That's not a guess. That's just an opinion.
And then
thing.
say
do you
where
want me
you
to
want
do this before you tell me anything about it. This
yeah,
is
right
like
now.
Clue,
Guess
Josh.
the conference.
I need to know the weapon, the room that it's in, and who did it.
That's right. Guess the conference.
I'm taking the candlestick and the observatory and Mr. Peaches.
Okay, it is the AADSM annual meeting. AADSM.
The American
You got that right?
Association
Nope.
of Dental
is gonna be a long-
Supremacist Machines.
Hey, that's actually better than I thought.
Okay, great.
It is the American. It's good we didn't have to drag this on for.
Okay, good.
It is the American Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine.
I was pretty damn close. I'm not
I
gonna
know
lie.
you
That's
were. I'm
pretty good.
impressed. Where do you think the American Academy of Dental Sleep Medicine annual meeting would be held?
Why would you even ask, Josh? That's clearly at Palms.
It's not. It's at the Westgate. But you were kind of in the
okay,
same
I was close. Yeah.
vein.
Slightly
How many
off
people do you
script
think?
sort of
How many dental sleep experts?
I mean, if you ask me for my opinion, I'd probably say 15, but I'm going to go with a legitimate answer of 2,500.
No, you're too high. 1,000. You're expecting
Okay.
about 1,000 attendees at the Westgate for
Okay,
the
that's not a lot, but okay.
annual meeting of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, where, Chris, some of the presentations include effectively communicating sleep study results with patients and physicians, and my favorite, the happy mouth breather.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite ones. Do you think that they have like a mascot that walks around the convention floor that's like a big happy tooth with a smile on him?
It's got to be.
And then when you walk by, he just occasionally pulls down a sleep mask and lays down on the ground because he's tired?
Hey, I need a good sleep mask.
There you go.
Anyway, if we have any patrons going to the AADSM annual meeting, give us a shout.
Okay, I agree.
Let us know how fun it is.
Any others?
That's it for that game. We got to spin the wheel again.
It's not much of a game. It only have one round. You lose. Congratulations.
I don't think everybody wants to hear all the conventions coming to Vegas. Let's spin the wheel again. Maybe there'll be another one.
Okay.
All right, Chris, this is a story you probably heard about, I think. The
Okay.
MGM closing their concierge desks.
Yes.
Did you hear about that? At I
Big
think
news
6
the past
properties.
couple
Yeah.
weeks.
MGM Grand, New York, Park, Mandalay Bay, Vidara.
Everything but
maybe
their
some-
top three. Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
You know, at first I was like, well, of course, it's MGM. This doesn't surprise me at all. You know, how horrible that they're going to do this. But at the same time, I can't remember the last time that I went to a concierge desk for anything.
Right.
And who is going to the desk? I mean, who's doing this nowadays? I don't know, Josh. To me, it feels like a non-starter because I don't think it really impacts anybody.
That's the thing too. I mean, my first reaction is, oh man, that's just another corporate money grab. Then I thought, I feel bad for anybody who's lost their jobs. I think it affected, kind of 20 people, and a few people had to be reassigned and things. So it's not, I feel bad for those folks. But really, I think with the things you can do now on apps and all that kind of stuff, I mean, are people really at the lower end properties using the concierge desks? I mean, I saw the video that, who's the guy that we had on? The Vegas errand boy that we had on, several episodes ago. That's the concierge for high rollers and the errand runner for high rollers in Vegas. And he said, not a needle mover for him at all, his business. I mean, he's getting the concierges, if that's the plural, for the high rollers are not at these properties. They're not going through the concierge desk. Those people still exist. They still have jobs. The high rollers are still going to get catered to all their needs and that kind of stuff.
No, I agree with you there, Josh. And it feels like there's going to be like a phone, digital, text-related replacement that goes through a centralized calling center, whatever it may be, to get you your answers that you need. And it feels like most of the properties nowadays have like that text assistant. Yeah. That when you first check in, they text
Ivy,
you.
Whoever has Ivy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the Caesars one that they use for everything. And but yeah, I mean, you just text that thing and like, I need this, or where can I get this? And then a couple minutes later, you'll get a response. That's just as easy. I mean, there's literally zero chance I would ever walk downstairs to try to get an answer from the concierge desk or something over an issue I had. I mean, I would call and it doesn't matter if they're there if I'm calling.
Right.
So yeah, I don't see the benefit there. I understand why they're replacing them and taking them out at certain locations. But yes, still keeping it at their 3 main properties so that they can still claim to be a 5-star resort at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they're keeping track of how often those people are being used, for lack of a better way to describe it. So I think they probably saw that people just aren't going to the concierge desks at those level of properties. So I don't think it's that big a deal to me. I feel bad for the people, as I said, that lost their jobs, but really, I don't think it's much of a needle mover other than that. I don't think it's a sign of. I mean, we all know Vegas. They're all companies. They're trying to make as much money as they can. Is it a sign of the times? I don't even know what that means, but.
No, I'm with you there, Josh. I think it's sad for the people that lost their job. But other than that, I don't think it has any impact on a normal visitor's vacation in Vegas.
Yep. And the other thing is I think the buffet at Luxor is closing.
Oh, how sad.
I know. Have you ever been?
I mean, no. Oh, no. I take that back. I have. I've been there when I used to go a long time ago, but I probably haven't been in 15 years, if that's what
I
you're
was
asking.
sad to see that the buffet at Excalibur closed. I hadn't realized that.
I was extremely sad when the Planet Hollywood one did.
Yeah,
Spice Market Buffet was
that,
the best.
right? That was the bomb.
It was really good.
Is that what the
bomb
kids say?
Diggity. I think that's what the kids say nowadays, Josh.
Slay.
Yeah, Slay Queen.
All right, that's
Josh,
it for the wheel.
You got anything else before you want to get out of here today?
No, I'm counting down the days to our time together again.
All 2 hours that Sunday morning together?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
2 hours.
Isn't it?
That's optimistic.
I said that is pretty optimistic now that I think about it. Now, are you going to play at our normal levels with me that morning, Josh?
Depends how the trip before that went.
Okay. Did we mention that I have a suite for this trip?
Oh, no, we didn't talk about that on this show. Let's talk about that. Chris is excited about his suite.
I am. I have a parlor suite. I've never had a suite at Wynn before. I didn't ask for it. It wasn't on my offer. So I don't know what exactly is going on, but I am really excited to check out the parlor suites at Wynn. Josh hasn't even stayed in one before.
No.
I'm sure I'll put a video tour up on our socials, or I'll upload it to our YouTube page that we never pay any attention to. So I'm sure you'll get to see the inside if you want to see it from my perspective. But I'm really excited about it, Josh.
I'm excited too. Each of our suites, I looked, has about the same number of square feet. Yours is about 1,200, 1,300. Mine's going to be 1,200, 1,300 over at VP.
Mine's about 57 years newer from a design standpoint.
But you don't get a DVD player.
I don't, nor do I get an elliptical or a super shower.
Right. So, there's pluses and minuses. But I'm really excited for you to get it. Like I said, I've never had one of those. So, and maybe, who knows, maybe our host will upgrade me and I will get your room.
No chance. I made sure that he didn't. I made it very clear that you did not deserve it.
What you need to do is do a late checkout on that day so that there's no way I could. Just let you come take it over?
Well,
no. I was going to say there's no way I could get it.
Okay, fair enough. Josh, this has been a ton of fun. I look forward to doing this again next week. But until then, we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Vegas, here we come.
Thanks for listening to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Check out all our recent news and our Vegas trip calendar by visiting crapvegas.com.
See you in Vegas.
Why don't you tell people how to get a hold of it?
I was about to. Sorry. I gave that great metaphor. That's all you have. Just coming off my dome. You give me that?
All right, hold on. Let's just start the episode over again.
Yeah, we should.
We should just start the episode over. Let's see, hang on. I got to think of something to go with your metaphor.
No, fuck it. No, just keep moving. Jeez. Okay, so I wanted to kick things off today with a little trip recap. Recap? I don't know.
Nightcaps?
Yeah, trip nightcap.
The only thing I can think of, Chris, is the time when we made that little run downtown with Boring Jack, I think, where we were at Binion's or wherever.
What? Why do I sound like a transformer now? The Decepticons are coming!
Okay,
Lord.
I lost that.
I
caught me off
don't
guard.
even start your response. I didn't even hit a button. It just switched. I don't know. Oh, shit.
How about you, Chris? Assuming... Oh, hang on.
Sorry. Take two.
That's right.
Perfect.
Perfect.